Hello, YouTube. Skijaramaz here, and welcome to day 1 of Freebie Week. The following reading is actually an April Fool's crossover chapter that was originally uploaded to both The Bug in the Herd and Change, Queen of the Hive, on both my story and Tom117Z's story, simultaneously. I realize that sentence was kind of redundant in probably many ways, but you get the idea. It's called Idiocy in Spring. It's a crossover between the two stories, written mostly just as an April Fool's joke. I was planning on doing a reading of it this April, but I missed it. And well, by Tom's request, I'm going to go ahead and slip it into Freebie Week, because fuck it, why not? Anyways, I've rambled enough. Let's let you get to the story you came here to listen to, alright? Alright, have fun. Chapter 1622. Idiocy in Spring. I love this show, Discord said happily to himself from his comfortable sofa in his personal house. Well, if one could consider an entire dimension to be his house. He was gazing at a television on his wall, showing Twilight Sparkle as a changeling playing what looked like chess with a thoroughly flabbergasted Queen Chrysalis. I know, the other Discord laughed to himself. I, of course, knew her identity the whole time, but not revealing it created so much chaos that I just couldn't resist watching it play out. Of course, I was also quite stoned at the time. Discord 1 gave Discord Dos a high five. I am quite saddened that I missed such an opportunity. Make one, Discord Dos encouraged with a little nudge-nudge and wink-wink. After all, things have been pretty boring on my side of things since Serpens bit the dust. We could use a bit more chaos over there. Discord 1 pondered this thoughtfully, a big tree with blue leaves appearing beneath him. Yes, perhaps, but the chaos as a result would potentially cause damage to dimensional barriers. And when has that ever stopped us? We like not dying? Whatever. This isn't canon anyway, sort of, so who cares? Fair enough. So where shall we put them? Well, let's flip a coin, Discord Dos announced excitedly, a massive circle of copper appearing in his claws. Ooh, heads it's mine, tails it's yours. Sure. And then the coin was flipped. How the buck did you manage this? Toneshift demanded, throwing the thoroughly destroyed washcloth to the ground in front of Chrysalis in his kitchen. Chrysalis looked at him before using her magic to wipe the splattered egg yolk off of her face. Did you just throw down the gauntlet with a washcloth? She asked teasingly, earning a frustrated twitch of Tone's eye. I asked you a question. Answer me. Do it! Tone stomped on the floor. At about the same time, they both heard a loud, Where are we? Toneshift quickly asked, looking around the rather large chamber they suddenly found themselves in. This one is not my fault, Chrysalis snidely remarked. Check, Twilight stated smugly, much to Chrysalis's supreme annoyance. How did you even do that? She asked. I had you cornered. You should never underestimate me, Twilight responded, her smug look not abating for even a moment. I am, after all, the former protege of Princess Celestia, the master of chess. Playing chess with your lives in order to redeem her sister doesn't count. Twilight shrugged. I forgave her. Friendship is magic and all that. Please stop saying that, Chrysalis deadpanned. Who even came up with that phrase? Sounds like something for children. Adults can learn the magic of friendship too, Twilight argued. It doesn't have to be all explosions and death. Not with our track record. My queen? Carta said over the hive mind. You're in Café LeBlanc right now, correct? Twilight and Chrysalis glanced at each other in confusion.
Yes, why would you even need to ask such a thing? I'm enjoying an infuriating game of chess with my daughter. Then why are you also shouting at a pony in front of your mother's statue? What?
Twilight sighed.
It's probably just Thorax playing a joke or something. It had better be,
Chrysalis grumbled.
Are you sure it's me? Because I'm pretty sure I'm here. Let me check. Yes, definitely here. I've checked, and no drone here is claiming responsibility. Plus, the other you is being rather rude to the poor stallion. I'm a little confused, to be honest.
Chrysalis's eye twitched.
Twilight, this is your fault somehow.
Twilight looked offended.
What? How do you figure that? Everything happens to you,
Chrysalis pointed out.
Ancient evils, friendship lessons, Pinkie Pie, serpents. It all happens to you and only you. I would remember cloning you in the mirror pool,
Twilight argued back.
No, this one isn't on me. Well, whoever's fault it is, could you please come here? The other you is starting to notice she isn't alone with the stallion, and it's scaring me. You're captain of the Royal Guard. Grow some backbone,
Chrysalis chastised Cardus.
But I need an adult,
Cardus stated, though his tone indicated he was joking.
You are an adult,
Chrysalis raged.
I feel like we're stalling right now,
Princess Twilight pointed out.
We should probably see what really is going on. I mean, it can't really be another you. And what's a pony even doing here? It might be the pony's fault, then,
Chrysalis muttered.
I'm going to have words with him and demand he dispel the obviously fake doppelganger at once.
Chrysalis slammed her hooves onto the table, breaking the chessboard, much to Twilight's irritation, and stood up, striding out of the cafe, seeming with rage. Twilight had a very, very bad feeling all of a sudden. After all, it was a Saturday.
What is this place?
Chrysalis asked loudly, causing several nearby changeling drones to scatter in panic.
And why are all these changelings here? I don't know any of you!
She pointed at one in a suit of armor, who flinched away.
What is your name? Cardus?
He said, taking a step back. Chrysalis, hey, calm down. Shouldn't this be a good thing? Tone asked carefully, before realizing what he just said. Or rather, good for you? Equestria's kinda screwed, if so, but still.
The only Cardus I ever had in my kingdom was a cleansing drone. He cleaned out latrines, gutters, and did janitorial work.
Chrysalis spluttered, glaring at Cardus with confused anger radiating off of her. Well, if these drones listen to you, will you make sure they don't try to eat me or whatever? Tone asked, suddenly becoming very nervous as he saw all of the fangs on the drones looking at the two.
I'll consider it.
Chrysalis spat at him before looking around. Her eyes twitched as she looked at the big statue in the middle of the big room.
What is going on?
She shouted.
I should be asking you that, imposter.
Chrysalis, the other one, retorted as she exited her flight and slammed into the floor between the intruders and Captain Cardus.
Pony, dispel the illusion this instant. Who are you and why do you look like me?
Chrysalis, the first one, shouted back, jabbing a hoof in the other's direction. Toneshift absently brushed a hoof over his mane, which was conspicuously lacking any sort of horn jutting from it.
I am Queen Chrysalis, ruler of the Badlands Changeling Hive. You are in my domain, and I demand to know why you look like me.
I'm not a unicorn, Tone said meekly from where he stood, so I can't be doing this.
I know that,
Chrysalis lied. Telling them apart is gonna be a challenge, isn't it? Discord muttered under his breath to the other. Indeed, Discord Dose said absently. Let's just make a mild change here, shall we? Ooh, we're changing names? Discord 1 asked excitedly. Oh, but of course. The nice one shall henceforth be known as Chrissy. Which one is the nice one?
Why does that drone look like the Princess of Friendship?
Chrysalis demanded with more anger in her voice, pointing at a now very confused Princess Twilight Sparkle, just as the young changeling arrived.
What?
Chrissy asked.
That's my daughter, you cunt!
Ah, there we go. Yep, we got it.
Rip your guts out!
So, what's going on here? Twilight asked. Making friends, are we?
Friends?
Chrysalis snarked out.
I don't think so.
Wow, you must be a loner, Chrissy remarked. I feel sorry for you.
Shut up!
Chrysalis barked before looking around again.
And send us back!
Definitely an alternate reality, then, Twilight started, walking up to Chrysalis and looking over her like a scientist would their favorite guinea pig. What's your world like? What am I like there, the other Princess Twilight, I mean?
Oh, sweet, merciful chitina, it's another one.
Chrysalis groaned in aggravation.
Some pony pinch me and wake me up from this nightmare.
So you're not my mother where you come from? Twilight asked, a little hurt in her voice.
Considering your bull-headed brother and his wife ruined my initial plans and plunged my kingdom into a few years of starvation, all because of you, or, well, the other you, I suppose, noticed Cadence was acting a little strange.
Chrysalis snarled out.
I would sooner bash my brains out than have you as a daughter.
Chrissy, upon seeing her child insulted, quickly crossed the distance between herself and her counterpart and looked about ready to cross horns in combat.
You dare insult my daughter?
Chrissy yelled.
Our mother, Queen Avia, would be appalled at the changeling you became in your world. Congratulations! I don't care.
Chrysalis snapped.
Also, who was Queen Avia? My mother wasn't named Avia, and I simply took over from her when she eventually passed away. Well, at least you don't have Crudelis for an aunt,
Chrissy muttered.
Not that it matters. Looks like you are a suitable replacement.
As the argument continued on, Twilight could have sworn she saw a glowing crack appear in the base of the statue, if only for a moment, before it vanished again.
I don't have an aunt anyway,
Chrysalis said dismissively.
So, are all these drones yours, or did Sparkle butt over their birthsome?
Chrissy's and Twilight's eyes widened.
What? Birthed, you know. Popped them out en masse to create an army capable of laying siege to the land?
Chrissy could have sworn she was about to throw up.
No! 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 No!
Chrysalis was confused by her counterpart's odd reaction, but simply rolled her eyes before turning to Tone Shift.
I don't know how you stomping your hoof brought us here. Maybe it was just poor timing, or your hoof is magic in some way, but right now I don't care. We are leaving.
Tone nodded sheepishly. Sure, he said, trying to hide that he had just seen the phrase, signed, yours truly, Discord and Discord Dose, burned into his hoof.
Well,
Twilight spoke up,
unless you have a mirror portal conveniently stashed in that massive ego of yours, then you're stuck here. Too bad for you. Piss off!
Chrysalis snapped before picking up Tone Shift in her magic and buzzing off, much to Chrissy's relief.
My queen, Cardus addressed, we really shouldn't let them leave. What if she tries to attack Princess Celestia or something and they think it's you?
Chrissy began to realize the implications of this.
Shit.
Twilight sighed and took the initiative.
Lock down the hive, now! Apprehend the chrysalis carrying around the pony like I used to carry around my Smarty Pants doll.
Chrysalis looked around, with Tone Shift flailing in her magic and panicking hysterically, begging for Chrysalis to keep him right side up while she went, to which she simply spun him faster out of spite.
Where is the exit?
She grumbled to herself. There! Another voice shouted from below. Chrysalis looked down and saw a small swarm of drones flying at her with swords drawn.
This is not how I thought today was going to go.
Chrysalis grumbled as she quickly flew the other way. The drones gave chase, only to pass Chrysalis completely. She had taken on the form of a candlestick and hid Tone Shift behind a wall-mounted tapestry after knocking him out. Once the drones had passed, a little, tiny drone peeked around at them from a nearby corner.
Huh?
The nymph, Uvenus, asked as she approached the candlestick.
Why's this here?
She asked with an adorable amount of childish curiosity. She poked the candlestick, causing Chrysalis to drop the disguise as one of her most sensitive spots just got poked.
Eep!
Chrysalis squeaked, her hold on Tone failing, and he dropped to the floor with a sound not unlike that of a wet sack of tomatoes falling over.
You look like the queen,
Uvenus noted, but a frown showed she wasn't sure.
But you also look like a big jerk.
Tone Shift, starting to wake up, mumbled, You are correct.
Shut up,
Chrysalis snapped at both of them.
How did you know I was right here? My friends and I play hide and seek here, and that candle was new, so I poked it. Play?
Chrysalis replied, wording it as if it were a foreign phrase she was trying to figure out the pronunciation of.
Oh, I see. I think.
She gave an impressed grin.
You're using such a game to improve your stealth. Why didn't I think of that? Your hive may not be such a shit show after all. You said a bad word,
Uvenus scolded.
And I don't play for practice, I play for fun. First, yes, I said a bad word. Fucking deal with it. Second, good. You have fun being sneaky, and you'll make a fine infiltrator. Now piss off, I'm leaving.
Chrysalis picked up a now very motion-sick Tone Shift in her magic and flew away.
Jerk,
Uvenus pouted. Just as Chrysalis made her escape, however, she had the ultimate misfortune of running into and being grappled rather violently by her extremely pissed-off counterpart.
Hold her down,
Chrissy ordered, mini drones grabbing onto the other changeling queen where they could. Princess Twilight, for her part, was just taking notes on a pad marked interdimensional relations and how they can royally fuck up.
God damn! How did you find me?
My daughter said you told her a bad word over the hive mind, Captain Cardis replied. Fuck you for that, by the way.
Hypocrite.
Chrysalis snarled before tilting her head as she was hefted up with her foreheads covered in green slime.
Hive mind? You have that?
Twilight immediately entered scholar mode.
The changeling egregore, or hive mind, is a startling evolutionary advantage. It allows communication between changelings at close ranges, but not much else. Each changeling is on their own unique port. Now shut up,
Chrysalis interrupted, earning an annoyed snort from Chrissy and a pout from Twilight. It was during her pout, no one disses book smart, that Twilight noticed the cracks again. Only this time they weren't going away.
Mother, could you look at— Don't interrupt my daughter, you half-wit!
Chrissy growled at Chrysalis, very much so ignoring Twilight at this point, as well as the fact that she herself just interrupted her, Mama Wolf mode kicking in.
Or what?
Chrysalis challenged, using some of her own magic to dispel the green slime at her hooves. Chrissy had finally had enough, and with a heavily twitching eye, she ignited a blade of pure magic.
There can be only one!
A chunk of the hive's wall nearly broke away, floating in midair as purple light and weird energies were seen on the other side. Looks like it's breaking, Discord Dose commented. So soon? I had too much popcorn for this. By now, Twilight had started to panic quite a bit. The whole universe was breaking apart, so on this rare occasion, she was actually justified.
I did not survive getting shanked just to die to the inevitable heat death of the universe!
Twilight shouted to herself.
Not like this! I still have 3 sequels to survive!
The changeling princess suddenly realized she had done a Pinkie Pie, and she blamed the fact that the universe had literally started falling apart. Tone Shift stumbled over and showed her his hoof with the Discord and Discord Dose signature. Not to be a killjoy, but we're screwed, he said simply. Twilight stared at it, ignoring the fact that her mother and her mother's alternative self were catfighting in the corner with a crowd of changelings making bets on who would win.
Celestia, damn it, Discord!
And then the universe caved in on itself. Well, that was short-lived, Discord grumbled to his other. It was, but at least it was fun. And besides, Discord Dose gave a smirk, before snapping his fingers and popping the whole of reality back to where it had been just before they started this nonsense. We can always do it again. Oh, I love you. No homo now. The end. Thank you for listening to this one-shot. If you enjoyed any of what you heard, please consider leaving a like. If you're not already, consider subscribing. And if you're really feeling incredibly generous and really want to support me in what I do, then there's a link to my Patreon down in the description below. Thank you very much for any and all support, be it like, sub, favorite, whatever. It's all helpful. I appreciate it all. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.